does it mean to build a legacy on your own terms? I'm Tanya Hendricks, and this is Legacy Her Way, the podcast where we explore how women are creating powerful personal legacies through family, faith, business, community, and beyond. From foster moms to founders, caregivers to creatives, we go beyond the buzzwords and talk about real life, real impact, and the values that guide it all. Whether you're building wealth, raising kids, or launching your next big thing, this space is for you. This episode is brought to you by Huntsville Estate Planning Lawyer, where we empower your vision and secure your future through estate planning and trademarks. So let's talk legacy, her way, your way, the way that matters most. Today's guest is someone whose journey embodies all that it requires to become a successful small business owner. Stephanie Childers is an entrepreneur who founded Float Huntsville. She was trained and licensed as a massage therapist in Madison, right here in Madison, Alabama, and working in the spa industry for over 10 years. Float Huntsville wants to help you disconnect from the constant noise of modern life so you can reconnect with what matters to you. They plan to inspire you to live with intention and to be creators of a life that brings you deep joy and satisfaction. Stephanie is a small business owner, wife, and mom. Welcome to the show, Stephanie. I'm so excited for you to be here.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Yay! So before we talk about Float, because we are going to talk about Float because it is amazing, an absolutely amazing experience if no one's ever done a float. I want the audience to hear a little bit of background information about you. So tell us a little bit of personal information so we can understand your journey to being this amazing woman you are sitting before us today.
Well, thank you for that. It has been a journey, and I think that that's been part of my story is it's not been a one-stop shop. After high school, went to X-ray school, and I was in the healthcare field. And then after healthcare field, I moved to Alabama, and I went to massage school. And after massage school, I decided I want to do more than just massage therapy. So it's been like a few different paths of education to get me to the point where, I evolved to seeing something greater and having a passion for something greater.
And what was that something greater?
So something like that wasn't here anymore. We didn't have a float center here when we moved back after the pandemic. So we were here. I went to Madison School of Massage and I worked at several spas. And then we moved to Pennsylvania for a couple of years to be closer to my parents. And then the pandemic hit and we felt we had to come back to Alabama. It was just more home for us as a family than anywhere else. And when we moved back, there was no float center. And we had been floating up in Pennsylvania for years now. And we were like, we miss this. We can see this happening. We can see this being a blessing to our community. We've experienced it. Let's bring it here.
Well, what is float? I mean, for people who don't, and I tell people about float and they're like, what is that? So tell us what float is.
That is a great question. We get that question every day. So float therapy to me, I was a full-time massage therapist, young kids, and I started floating for my own filling of my cup and reset, recharge, rejuvenation so that I could go back to being that mom and that full-time massage therapist. So what it is it's 1,000 pounds of warm Epsom salt water, skin temperature 94 degrees, and it relaxes you from head to toe. It's a little bit of a leave me alone time where you don't have to have any distractions and you can literally just kind of refill your cup. It's restorative. A 1 hour in the float pod is equivalent to 4 hours of deep REM sleep. Oh, wow. So it's incredibly healthy for your mind and body to have that break. And it kind of, again, it just refills your cup so you can go back to what you're called to do.
So it's interesting that you keep referencing this, it refills your cup and the calling. Is there a way that floats, that your business actually reflects your values, your personal values?
Yes, I think so. I think so. So not only has it in the past filled a void for me and my husband to have that, it's a connection and a reflection of our value of self-care and our value of taking time for yourself so that you can be full and overflowing for those who you're called to minister to or to work with and to help and serve in your job and sphere.
Now, when you got ready to launch Float, I mentioned earlier you're a mom. You got how many children?
2 girls.
2 girls, and you got a husband. You talked about him, and y'all are actually the co-founders of Float, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, tell us what it was like when you began talking about opening a small business. What was that conversation like between you and your husband as you're thinking about going on this journey to being a small business owner? Had you owned a small business before? Had you been through this journey before?
So I can say that part of my dad's journey was being a small business owner. So I'm like a child of a small business. So I grew up with my father. He had a landscaping business that was part of his journey. And so I kind of was in the business with him at times, like in summer and stuff, having a summer job with dad. So I didn't have the business growing up. He did, but I knew what it was like to be a business owner from being a child of a business owner. But as a massage therapist, we often will have our own small business where we're representing ourselves as well. And so I have done that in a small scale, but this was much bigger.
Was it scary to go from the small scale to the big scale?
Yes, it was scary. And I prayed a lot through it and asked a lot of counsel and grabbed a lot of people that had done it before, grabbed their perspective, and really did a lot of research as well. And that's part of what helped my husband and I take that step of faith, was the research as well as the support and counsel from others that have done it before.
The step of faith is not just a blind taking a step. You actually you researched it. You took an educated risk, an educated step. It wasn't just like, I want to start this thing, let's go do it, right?
Right.
How long did it take you to research and kind of figure out that this is that you can do this, or you were going to give it a shot?
Yeah. So once we had the vision and the passion and the desire, we kind of dove into it with everyone and everybody we could. We met with the owners of the prior float spa even, and we asked them to tell us everything. What was the pros? What was the cons? What would you do better? And we made checklists, and then we got business plans together. We did research. So, I would say it took us probably 6 months of planning, 6 months of research and gathering, and just with our different groups and resources. Yeah.
If there is someone listening who is thinking about pivoting from whatever job they may have right now, maybe they're a stay-at-home mom, or maybe they are a massage therapist, or they have a 9-to-5 job. If they're thinking about pivoting or launching their own business, what advice would you give them?
So I am a big proponent of checking out know your dreams, list out your dreams. I'm also a big proponent of listing your pros and cons and talking to people that have maybe been in that sphere before and pursuing it. And I believe in knocking on doors, and if that door is meant to be open, it'll open. I believe if it's not, it'll be shut and another one will open. So a lot of times, that is a lot of what I would say is pursuing your dreams, knowing, hey, I believe, God gave me this dream for Float Huntsville. And my husband was like, heck yeah, let's do it. I'm in this with you. And what do we have to do? And then asking the right people and making those appointments and taking the time to put things in place as best as you can, knowing there's going to be tons of things that you can't ever account for. But that's part of the grace in the journey too, is that you're pursuing that passion and that dream, that goal and that vision, and knowing that if it's meant to be, every door will open and it will happen, and you can open that and pursue that. And it's really exciting when that happens.
But it doesn't always happen, does it? So when you're a business owner, the doors aren't always just completely wide open, are they?
That's right.
So have there been some times that you've had to overcome some struggles? I mean, some struggles or some difficulties to just kind of keep the doors open and keep trudging along every single day?
Yes. So we're really young as a small business. We had our grand opening in October with the chamber. Before that was the whole getting open process. And with our first general contractor, great general contractor, however, he fell sick. In the midst of it, he could barely move. He couldn't work. And we needed a new general contractor. And it's really hard to find a general contractor that will take up over everything and fill in and finish a job that he didn't start. And I really feel like God provided that for us and helped us to overcome the last hurdles and open. And that was incredibly stressful. And it was very difficult because we had a goal, we had a time, we knew when we wanted to be open. And it did not fall into place when we thought it would or how we thought it would. And yet it did happen, and we had to just keep pressing on and keep, again, knocking on doors saying, hey, is anybody willing to help us? Because we'd love to get open if you can help us. And it did. It opened up, but it was very difficult and stressful through that season.
I'm glad we always talk about, or we like to talk about our successes, but I think it's just as important to kind of talk about not necessarily the failures, but the struggles. Because if someone is thinking about launching her own business, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. It's a lot of hard work. I mean, do you have some sleepless nights still about the business?
Sure. Yeah, I do. I'm not going to lie about that because it's like a baby to me. It's really like I have a third child. I love my girls. And I just felt like this is something that I was feeling called to. And it's like a third child to me. And a lot of people came alongside us. A lot of people were our village. A lot of people were our support in little ways and big ways. They were all meaningful to us the whole path and the whole way. And it's been a community thing, I think.
Speaking of your girls, what traditions or values or what lessons are you intentionally passing down to them through this process?
That's a good question. So I was raised with two very hardworking parents. They took pride in having positions where they were of service in their community. They weren't necessarily the highest paid in their community, but they were hardworking and of service. So my mom was the administrative assistant for the high school, and my dad was a social worker. He had his master's of social work after he got out of the Air Force. Hardworking for the people of service. And those are the kind of values and traditions I want to pass to my daughters. I want y'all to be people who serve and people in whatever capacity you're called to, and that you work hard and that you do things with excellence, and that you're a person who your reputation is that of excellence and you can be trusted.
You mentioned your parents, you've talked about it a couple of times. And so you talked about your dad being an entrepreneur and having his own lawn care business. What is something, though, that, something from your past that you're trying to balance that service that they have instilled in you, the sense of service, that entrepreneurial sense that your dad instilled in you? What's something that you're trying to balance as preserving your family's past while building your own path forward?
Yeah, that's really great. So I guess the balance would be my goals are eventually for Float Huntsville to be able to be a well-oiled machine that I can work less in and work more on. That's a goal for me. And so I can, in the future, have more and more time with my girls. However, I do value time with my girls. And I think my parents were in positions of not just service in their jobs, but then also such servants at their local body of believers that I felt like I might have gotten the short end of the stick at times because there was so many other people that they had to spend time with, or that they were in positions of complete service. But I got the short end of the stick. And that's something that I hope to counter and balance as far as family and time and quality time with the girls, that they know that they're always my heart and they're always my why. And that I don't just say that, but that they see that in our lives.
How are you doing that?
So yeah, I've been trying to learn to say no. I've been trying to learn to say no, and it's tough, but you have to say no sometimes. Like, hey, that's a great opportunity. Thank you for presenting that. I just am not able to do that because we have something planned with the kids. And so, just I've been learning to say no to things that are good for my kids, which are my best. So
That's so important for people to hear, that you can say no. I mean, when you're building a business and you're a young business, I'm a young business with my law firm, we feel like we have to do all the things because we need to get business in the doors. We need to do everything to build our business.
yeah.
But as you said, we do have to say no. And no is a complete sentence. You don't have to give an explanation. You can say, no, I'm not going to do that. So you have to set the boundaries. So I'm happy to hear that you have incorporated no in your business growth so that you can stay true to the value, that your values of being there with your children, with your girls.
Mm-hmm.
So when you hear legacy and legacy her way, what does that mean to you?
So I've been thinking about this. Legacy her way is something I've been thinking about as far as when a woman, she knows herself, she knows her strengths, she knows all that she brings to the table, her weaknesses, everything. And she trusts herself enough to leave a legacy that is worthy of who she is and leaves a lasting impression to others.
What is that legacy you're building?
I've always tried to be a mover and a shaker, and I've always tried to be a bright light wherever God puts me. And so I'm praying that Float Huntsville is an oasis for people. It's a safe place. It's a place where they feel that they are recharged and rejuvenated. It's an oasis that's not too far from home. So there are a lot of people that have a lot in their past. It could be PTSD, or it could be present. It could be stress. It could be all kinds of things that they carry and just stress that they need to try to have a balance for. And I'm a huge proponent of balance. And so I pray that the legacy that we leave is that Float Huntsville is a bright light and a shining example of safety and an oasis for people to go to refill their cups like we found it to do for us, so that they can go back to where they're called to and they can be refreshed and carry on better than before they got there.
Wonderful. I know you've got young children.
Yeah.
But if you could write a letter to your future grandchildren or great grandchildren, particularly daughters, what would you say?
I think that one of the things I would say is that life is a journey and you've got to keep moving forward. Don't give up. You might need to take a breath. You might need to take a pause. You might need to stare and have some water and drinks, but it's a journey. And you've got to keep moving forward. Don't give up, especially on your dreams. That's what I would say. If you have dreams and God's given you dreams, pursue your dreams and don't give up on them. Just know it's not an easy journey. A lot of the time, those are what make you stronger, those struggles. So pursue it.
If someone's listening to this, and I've kind of asked a similar question earlier, but if someone's listening to this and they are thinking about pivoting, they're thinking about starting their own business, but they've got, maybe they don't have a husband at home. Maybe they do, but they have children and they've got work and they've got school and they've got the activities the kids are in. How do they take a pause? I mean, how is it that they can take a pause and have that self-care that you want, that you desire, and you think, and it's one of your core values? How do they take a pause?
That's a good question. So I will say that a lot of the support that you can build is a community. For me, it's been a lot of moms. The moms that I've built a village with, they will help you watch your kids and you'll help them watch their kids, and you support one another. And if they need a minute and a break, to be available. And just like building those relationships and trust. And when you have that village and that connectivity, my family is not really from Huntsville, right? I have had some family move here, but I've had to build and build friendships and over years and years of trust and reliability. And when you have a connection and a community in a village, then they can support you. And a lot of my support has come from my mom friends.
Awesome. It's good to hear that, women are supporting women and building each other up, because the media likes to pit us against one another and say that we're in competition constantly and that we can't get along and help each other. And here you're just telling us that is not correct, that your community is the women around you, the other moms that are cheering for you, rooting you on by helping you out. And you do the same for them.
Well, we had a military mom do our logo for us. People comment on how they love our logo all the time. And my mom friend did that for us. And our website, people say, it's a beautiful website. One of my mom friends did that for us. Like, it's just neat. Yes, if you can build that relationship and you can support them and they support you, there's a give and take there. And we're not in competition. We support one another. We cheer one another on, and we help each other when we can. And it's beautiful.
Are you building something at Float that you're hoping will outlive you?
I hope so. Yeah, I do. I know not every small business outlives its founders, but I do hope so, because it is such a wonderful form of therapy for us. That water float therapy is so nice, and we pray that it just grows. And so we're hoping to have more than one location in the Huntsville area. So we do hope it outlives us.
And I know that it's still very early in the journey, but have you? I know you're wanting to build something that outlives you, but have you realized that you are building something that's bigger than you? Have you realized that yet, or you're still like, no, it's just one little shop in Jones Valley?
It does feel like it's larger than me. Yes, it does. Sometimes it feels like it's definitely larger. So yeah, I'm there where I feel like it's huge, but it's huge to me because of not just of its importance to me and its value to the community, but I know it's also an untapped gem. A lot of people don't know what it is. They've never experienced it, and every day they tell us their testimony of how it was wonderful, and stress just flowed away from them, and you're just like so encouraged. But more and more people have not tried it, so we're excited and hopeful that it will outlive us and that it'll grow. And we think it's pretty meaningful, but we hope that it'll be successful.
Well, tell us more about Float. Tell us, you talked a little bit about it earlier, but let's tell us more about it, and then tell us how people can find you.
Sure. Okay. So we have modeled our float center basically after the float center that we were floating at in Pennsylvania. So we are not a franchise or a chain. We are locally owned and operated, and it offers infrared sauna therapy with red light therapy, which has been great for healing properties, and detox and relaxation of your muscles and joints. And then we also offer massage therapy. I am a licensed massage therapist, and I like to be excellent at my craft, and I am very picky. So I'm the only massage therapist at this point in our journey, but offering excellent quality care and massage therapy to clients is customized. Then we do float therapy, which is the float sessions, and you can do those for 40 minutes, 60 or 90 minutes. And we've had people ask us for even longer extended sessions because they think it will help them for even longer periods of time. So those are on a case-by-case basis, but the float therapy has been helpful for people with muscle tension, training, and recovery because of the salt water and relieving toxins from the body, especially inflammation. It really helps with a lot of people for their muscle relaxation, decreasing pain, helping them sleep because it's magnesium sulfate. So it's been great for people all over the area. And we have people come from Fayetteville, from Birmingham, from we have people come from all over. The Shoals are great supporters. So we have a lot of people come visit us from Huntsville and Madison as well. And we're at floathuntsville.com. If you want to look up our website and you want to see what we offer and you want to ask frequently asked questions, contact us through the website. We are in Jones Valley. If you want to come see the spa, take a tour. We're right next to Handel's Ice Cream on 4 Mile Post Road there in Jones Valley behind Target. So we'd love for you to come by and take a tour, and we can answer any questions you have.
Wonderful. And I will say that it is a wonderful experience. I've done it. And, one of the questions that I get from so many people when they find out I'm done is like, well, I'm claustrophobic. And I'm afraid to being in there, that thing, the door closed all the way. And I'm like, yeah, the first 20 minutes that I did it, I didn't know what to expect. So I was on edge and I had the door still open some.
Yeah.
I settled in, closed it, and you can't even tell that it's closed. So
Right.
it is an incredible experience. I highly recommend anybody do it.
Yeah, and you can leave it open the whole time if you want to. A lot of our clients that say they have claustrophobia, they leave it open the whole time. But it is quite spacious. And we do have the largest float pod in room 2 in the country. So it is big enough for 2 people. If you were so to choose to, I don't give up my alone time. So I don't do that. But we have had a lot of requests for it, and sisters have come and couples and things like that. So
Nice.
It's huge. If you leave it open in room 2, it's like just being in a pool, but filled with Epsom salt. So
Nice. Well, we've talked a lot about legacy. We talked about float, and I know what your values are, what you talked about today. But what's one legacy building habit or mindset shift that you'd recommend someone start today?
So I'm going to be honest with you. I think that not enough people take care of themselves on a regular basis. And I have come from a family that takes care of other people. And, but soon you run out of steam. And you just don't have as much to give and your margins run low. So I believe self-care is something that's a mindset shift. People need to know you don't need to feel guilty to take care of yourself. You don't need to feel like it's wrong for you to spend any time or energy on yourself, because that's really just making you more full and more whole for those things and those people and those callings that you have. So I think self-care is something that more people need to stop making excuses for. And I'm sorry, I just have to tell you the truth. I think that that's something that if we change that, then maybe more and more people would have more to give and they wouldn't run out of steam so quickly. So self-care is really my heartbeat.
Do you think that we struggle with it more as women than men do?
I do 100%. Yes. I think women struggle with it more 100%. And we love to give and we love to support but we need that too.
How can someone say yes to themselves? Is there a tip or a tool that you can say? Because it is when we feel like, or I feel like when I say yes to taking care of myself, I'm saying no to someone I love. How do we say yes to ourselves?
Well, I think, again, the mindset shift is inclusion and including of no guilt. There's no guilt here. Okay. This is for you. And it's something that you need. And if you see it as a need, just like, listen, if I need, which I don't, but if I needed a blood pressure pill, I wouldn't have any guilt. I wouldn't have any guilt in taking my blood pressure pill. Well, this helps lower your blood pressure because you're relaxed and it helps relax. So take your pill, don't feel guilty for doing something good for your health because it's preventative. And it also can help you so much more than you even realize. Like, we had a mom who came to float with us one morning and I wasn't there at all. And, I know her from the school, and she texted me later that night and said, "Hey, I happened to be at the ER because so-and-so had an allergic reaction. And I would not be handling this as well as I am right now if I hadn't had a float this morning. And I was like, oh my gosh, that so speaks to me of you took care of yourself not knowing what was coming ahead, but you're handling it better than you ever have because you took care of yourself this morning. And it just made my day, because I was like, she sees the value in taking a little chunk of time to bless herself and fill her cup. And then she saw the profit of it, unfortunately, at the ER, but she handled it better than she ever had before. And she never saw that coming, and she handled it better because of that float. And I thought that's hugely encouraging to people.
Well, I think that's probably hugely encouraging to you as well, because we've talked about the struggles and how difficult it can be at times as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, and to hear times as expressed to you the very reason why you went on this journey.
It does. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we are at the end of the interview. I want to encourage all the listeners to find Stephanie and find Float Huntsville. It's on Jones Valley. It's on 4 Mile Post in Jones Valley, right next to Handles. And the website is what, Stephanie?
FloatHuntsville.com, www.floathuntsville.com.
It's amazing, amazing, amazing. Go check it out. And I want to thank you all for listening to Legacy Her Way. If today's conversation inspired you, and I hope it did, I hope it inspired you. I hope it moves you to thinking about self-care and saying yes to yourself, and go to Float Huntsville to give yourself that self-care. And if it also made you think differently about what legacy means, you're not alone. Be sure to follow the show so you never miss an episode. And if you're feeling generous, you can leave a review to help more women find inspiration for their own path to legacy. Until next time, keep building boldly, loving deeply, and living your legacy her way.